Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. Some lots of news, transfer news this morning, and I hope you're all doing well. Make sure you smash a like, subscribe and all that jazz. But just saw that there. I'm actually going to talk about Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, Koundé, Shevchenko and a lot of other bits as well. But I just want to hit this straight off. Apparently Jesus' agent coming out and saying that Chelsea really pushed hard to hijack the deal and get Gabriel Jesus to Chelsea instead of Arsenal in the final days there. You've got to take it as read that that's probably true because it's coming from the agent, unless that's a fake quote. But fair play to Arsenal getting that over the line, and fair play Jesus for sticking to the plan. I suspect that this has probably got a lot to do with the fact that, and some people don't understand this, and I don't think Arsenal fans who don't like Arteta want to respect this, but Mikel Arteta was Pep Guardiola's right-hand man for quite a considerable period of time, and I do think that that allows these Shevchenko deals and Jesus deals to run more smoothly. And therefore, look, Chelsea might go in at the last minute to try and get Jesus, and it would have been a good signing for them. But I think that also, maybe from Man City's side, do you want your striker to go and play for Chelsea as well as your winger? I find I knew the Raheem Sterling deal was happening way before a lot of it hit public, but I think that's a good deal for Chelsea. I still find it a little bit weird because I still think Raheem Sterling can score a lot of goals and could potentially push Chelsea closer to Man City in a title race. So it's a bit weird. I think it would have been even weirder that Sterling and Jesus go to Chelsea, but maybe Man City would have allowed it. But I actually think it's credit to Arteta and Arsenal and Jesus that they've actually stuck to the plan and stayed with the Arsenal plan. Chelsea's a better club than Arsenal. I'm sure some Arsenal fans will celebrate, hey, we're bigger than Chelsea because he chose us. I don't really get involved in that. There's very few signings that I'm like. I'm not even bothered about Lisandro Martinez. I've not really said anything about that. Oh look, Arsenal, you've lost out. I don't like doing that because what if Lisandro Martinez ends up being a flop? Like, it's nice when a player picks you over a rival, but it's not something I massively celebrate anymore because I've had my fingers burnt on that in the past. But personally, I think this is not about Arsenal being a better draw than Chelsea. I think it's about Jesus probably having more respect for the project at Arsenal because of Arteta, and Man City have probably pushed it down that route as well, and Arsenal's a big club, so I think it's a good deal for Arsenal, and I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea were in for him. But Chelsea's summer transfer window is interesting. I want to come back to that in a minute, but what the headline I was going to talk about is Lewandowski to Barcelona and maybe Ronaldo going to Bayern Munich, because a lot of people, myself included, would have thought that would be a logical fear when Lewandowski ultimately goes to Barcelona, which was inevitable. Does that mean that Bayern Munich then go for Ronaldo? Because that would be the perfect move for Ronaldo. Like, Bayern Munich, you're going to win the Bundesliga. He's never played in the Bundesliga. You're going to compete for the Champions League, which is where he wants to play. It's a logical move for Ronaldo at the end of his career. But I think Bayern Munich have always been dismissive of this. Respectful, but dismissive. And I think the reason is that Bayern Munich probably have a wage structure, and also, does Ronaldo fit in with what Bayern Munich are all about? And I don't think he does. I think there's a respect there, but I don't think Bayern Munich will go for him. I was told on Friday night by somebody very close to Bayern Munich, Christian Falk, who's a journalist, that this is not true. This is not going to happen. So, look, anything can change in football. Cristiano Ronaldo was going to go to Man City, and then Man United got in there in 24 hours and bought him. So things can change very quickly. But at the moment, I think it's very unlikely that Ronaldo goes to Bayern Munich. Where Ronaldo goes, we'll have to just wait and see. Lewandowski to Barcelona. Lewandowski is one of the world's best strikers, I think. And this is a move that obviously he was very eager to make. He's had an amazing career at Bayern Munich, and I think this is just about ticking a box and going to play in a different league at a big club. And I think it's a very good deal for Barcelona. And interestingly, I don't know whether anyone read it, that Jared Romero was saying that that Barcelona must have been back in January, had actually finalised deals for Vlahovic and Luis Diaz, but they couldn't finalise the deals, ratify the deals because of financial fair play and economic issues. So obviously Diaz ended up going to Liverpool and Vlahovic ended up going to Juve. So it's interesting that Barcelona, as mad as it's been this summer trying to recruit loads of players, they've been trying to do it for a while. So Lewandowski, he's better than Vlahovic, isn't he? And I think he'll do very well. And again, Barcelona in the Champions League, they will be competing with Real Madrid. So I think it's a good move and an exciting move, and it'll be interesting to see what he does at the new camp. Sticking with Barcelona but shifting to Chelsea. Koundé is being linked with Chelsea again this morning by the Times. I don't know whether this does Chelsea any credit to be involved in this deal. They've already lost out on Rafinha to Barcelona. Looks like they're going to lose out on De Ligt to Bayern Munich. Lewandowski was a player they were interested in, but he only ever wanted Barcelona. Does Chelsea really want to be pursuing another player that's probably going to go to Barcelona and wants to go to Barcelona? I know that Chelsea were interested in Koundé a year ago, and I know that Chelsea would be interested in Koundé now. But again, I think it's a wasted effort because I think he ultimately will end up going to Barcelona. Barcelona this summer, whether people like it or not, are running the window, aren't they? Some would say ruining the window, but they're definitely running the window. They've held things up so that they can get the deals done, and they're getting those deals done. Maybe there was a queue for Lewandowski, Koundé, other players that they've bought, Rafinha certainly, but they are making these players wait, and these players are willing to wait to be part of the Barcelona project. So I think Koundé will end up at Barcelona. Chelsea, obviously Koulibaly's there. Kimpembe is still a player that they're being really linked to. I think Romano mentioned it this morning. So I think that's probably where Chelsea will end up. And those two players are not bad signings by any stretch of the imagination. I still think Chelsea have got other business to do. Sterling's there. I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking at another winger and maybe a striker as well. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, and I'm just going to throw it out there because I keep throwing this out all the time. Declan Rice wants to go to Chelsea. Chelsea want Declan Rice. We have still got 6 weeks left of this transfer window. I saw a story on Friday that West Ham are coming up with £100 million triple bid for Broha and a couple of other players. Where have West Ham got that money? And have they got that money because they're going to sell Declan Rice? So just be careful about that one. Could we see a major deal towards the end of this window where Declan Rice does go to Chelsea? Because it's been a big bubbling rumour for a long time, and it's one that I've been talking about because I've been sort of told about it, but it's always people go, oh, it'll probably happen next year now, but there is a real hunger to do that deal from all sides, apart from West Ham have said we want to wait a year and then we'll let him go. So interesting. Will Chelsea go for Rice or will they go for somebody else? We'll see. Of course, they've got Conor Gallagher coming back as well, who is going to be a very interesting profile player. But my understanding is that Chelsea want two midfielders. You know, they're not convinced that Kante can do it over a whole season, and Jorginho's a player that they've been looking to move on for a long time. So you could go Gallagher and Rice. So let's wait and see on that one. Back to Arsenal, Shevchenko moving down. I think this is a really good deal for Arsenal. I said it the other day. Shevchenko often gets called the Wish Kevin De Bruyne because they've got similar looks, but the reality is he's actually technically quite good. And I know Arsenal fans love Tierney, but Shevchenko can play left back. He can play in the midfield. He can play down the wing. He can arguably play centre back if you need him to. So I think he's a very good, versatile player for Arsenal to bring in. But I'd say his talent is too good to be a versatile player for Arsenal. They've got to find him a position and he's got to play every game. I think it's very easy to say, well, was he really a starter for Man City? But Man City have consistently been one of the best teams in the world for the last few years, and he's played quite regularly. He's going to Arsenal. Like if he was coming to Manchester United, you'd expect him to start. Spurs, same. So he's surely going to start for Arsenal. And again, I think it could be a really astute signing by Arteta because Jesus is their best striker and he's going to be their best striker. Whatever you think about Jesus as a Man City striker, he's doing that in one of the best teams in the world. He's now dropping down to the Europa League and a team that's going to be trying to fight for fourth. Jesus will be one of Arsenal's best players. And I think Shevchenko does that as well. So from Arsenal's point of view, it might be unglamorous to take a couple of utility players from Man City, and even that statement's unfair to call them utility players because they played a lot, but surplus to requirement players, certainly, because Pep's moved them on. It might be like, oh yeah, we're taking players that Man City don't want anymore. But I still think that they're players of a quality that they're going to go from Man City, where, all right, they don't start every game, to Arsenal, where they're going to be two of their best players. So I think that Shevchenko and Jesus are really good signings for Arsenal. May not be massively glamorous, but I think they will. You don't have to be glamorous to be a really good signing, and I think they ultimately they will be. And then Bernardo Silva, apparently Man City will not be letting him go to Barcelona. Again, we're back talking about Barcelona. They really want Bernardo Silva, and I think that the way Barcelona have acted in this transfer window, you just assume they're going to get Bernardo Silva. But apparently Pep Guardiola does not want him to go So we'll see what happens with that. Barcelona have seemed to get what they want so far this summer transfer window. If Bernardo Silva wants to go, Pep is the sort of manager that lets a player go. But Bernardo Silva, to me, was one of the best players in the Premier League last year. Can City afford to lose Sterling, Silva and Jesus? I don't really think that they can, because whatever you say, I think Jesus was consistent, Sterling was consistent, and Bernardo Silva was fantastic. So if you did lose Bernardo Silva, it leaves them a little bit short. I don't think he will go, but then on the other hand, Barcelona do tend to get what they want this summer. Maybe this is the thing they don't get. Lots to discuss there. Make sure you get your comments in the chat, smash a like and subscribe, bottom right hand corner. I'll speak to you on the next one. Thanks very much for watching.